Shalom, shalom. All esteem belongs to the most majestic one. Back again for another truth-telling session. Back again. All esteem belongs to 𝐤𝐄𝐄 for bringing us back for another study. Excited for this word. I'm excited for the times we're living in. Very humble to be used by the most majestic one. Extremely humble. I could be doing anything else. I could be anywhere else. But he preserved me time and time again. Didn't really know why until now that the veil has been pulled back. The truth has been made clear. The season in which we're living in. Yahuwah alone be esteemed. He alone deserves all the honor. I'm excited for what he's been using me for, because tell you, I've done so many things in this world in pursuit of so-called success and happiness and so forth and so on. Want to belong, want to be a part of something great, right? Yeah. And in the midst of all that, he kept me to use me for what he's using me for right now, which is to stand on the unadulterated truth. Stand on the uncompromising word. All esteem belongs to 𝐤𝐄𝐄. All esteem, all honor, we lift them up. I know, come on, y'all know y'all history. Don't be playing around. You know what you've been through. You know them landmines that you planted for somebody else, you ended up stepping on. You're alive today. He woke you up today. You didn't wake yourself up. You didn't bring yourself back to another day. He did. He brought you back. He said, I'm going to give you another chance. I'm going to give you another shot. I'm going to see what you're going to do with your time, with your energy, with your will you commit your efforts. How you going to utilize the things he put in your hand. So you want to see it. So much different from what they taught us in them institutions, those indoctrination camps called church, schools, so forth. Yeah. So much different. So much different. The truth hits different when you have eyes to see and ears to hear. Man, it is different. You look at that verse that you read, or you may have used as your go-to verse when you're going through something, and you didn't even really understand what you was speaking, what you was referencing. Then boom, just like that, the world goes into absolute anarchy. People run around saying you can't come in here unless your face covered. Yeah. And then your eyes is like, oh, so that's what's really going on. That's the season and the age, and we really living in. This is what really is happening. Yeah, when my eyes opened up, it was just like, wow. Spent all these years thinking I knew, believing I had it together. Didn't realize how far away from truth I really was. Yes. I'm excited for the word, excited for the hour, excited to be a preserve for a time such as this. You've allowed it to be. If I'm coming across clear, go ahead and give me a 7 in the comments, or whatever those emoji things are. Drop a notification, let me know I'm not coming across messed up. I got a fan going in here and it's hot. Yeah, we're in the triple digits out here in the high desert. Yeah. I see them 7s, okay, coming across clear. Yahuwah be esteemed. I didn't even think I can get this blacker, but man, I'm telling you, that sun is, yeah, it's cooking. But it's all gravy. It's a perfect way to burn some calories, that's for sure. Get out and get a little bit of that heat on you. Get you some Celtic salt, little dab of some Celtic salt. Put it in your mouth. Let it dissolve for a little bit and drink some water. Some of the best electrolytes right there, plain and simple. Stay away from haterade and fake Powerade and all those so-called electrolyte rehydrating drinks. Is nothing but sugar. If they say it's zero sugar in there, that means they got fake sugar in there. It's all about giving you blindness and diabetes and all that other kind of nonsense. Get you some watermelon. Go for the seeded kind. Try not to eat any fruits that don't have seeds in it. That's the wicked's fruit. They trying to turn the male fruit with the seed into a woman fruit. No seed. Yeah. Stay away from them garbage destroying drinks. Lay off the sodas. Stay away from high fructose corn syrup, partially hydrogenated oils, artificial colors and flavors. Stay away from that junk. Stay away from Coca-Cola products. They got nanobites in it. Yeah. Don't be eating no McDonald's. Don't eat no McDonald's. Stay away from them too. McDonald's is bad for you. Eat McDonald's, you eating somebody. Yeah, this stream probably get shadow banned. I'm just getting started. But all this thing again belongs to Abba Yahuwah. We waking up. I eat McDonald's all the time, so I ain't telling you something like I was there. I thought I was getting me a value meal too. I thought I was getting me a value meal. We used to take our kids to Wendy's, get that 4 for $4. Who remember that 4 for $4? Right? Fries, chicken nuggets, sandwich, and something else, right? I got a big family, so we thought we was on the come up. Every sun worship day after service, we headed over to Wendy's. Oh, look at that. They got a discount. Yeah. That $5 you say that you spend is taking 5 years off your life. Mess around with your longevity, quality of your life. Cook as much food as you can cook. Eat as less processed foods as possible. Trying to get back to the ancient past. And nobody back in the day roll up to no fast food restaurant. Get them a discount on a meal. Nope, we didn't eat like that. Kept food in the house. Went outside and plucked picture food. Them days is coming back. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. We live in the last. We're in the home stretch. That's the last home stretch. This is it. It's the last leg around the lap. That's why it's so hard. That's why it's so difficult. That's why the world's so evil. You ever ran a race before? You ever ran track or cross country? You know, when you coming in on that last lap or that last mile or quarter mile, it's the hardest part because you can see the end. You can see the end. You're like, okay, it's right there. If I can just keep going. If I can just keep striding, keep my pace, I can finish strong. Wicked don't want you to finish strong. That's why they flooding everything you see, hear, taste, or around that is around you. They flooding it with every evil they can think of. They know their end is here. They know this is it for them. They know it. They know the seed of Yaakov has awakened. The true remnant is rising. The dry bones is coming together. It's almost done. The flesh is coming onto the dry bones. They know it. They knew it before you knew it. Yes. Yahuwah willing, maybe we'll do a explicit study on dietary focus, getting back to those true habits of eating correctly, your expectations for your meals. Come on, they know the power of poor eating. They know the power of eating correctly. Why do you think they call your stomach the solar plex? They know that this is a connection. That's why the scripture, even the word even says that people will end up making their mighty ones their bellies. Mm-hmm. They know what happens when you fast. When you stop eating and you lay off the drinks and you probably only consume water or nothing at all. They know the power behind that, the revelation that comes behind it. That's why they feed you so much junk. Your body becomes addicted to that nonsense. And then you're trying to fast, but you got this chemical reaction, this induced addiction that keeps you, that makes it extremely difficult to fast. Mm-hmm. You're over here fasting, but your mouth watering for a Snickers. All right. How many times you seen that commercial? You hungry, you get a Snickers. Man, that stuff's so doggone poison. I'm telling you, who it was. Things changed for me years ago. I think it was 2006, maybe 2007, when I had this shrimp dinner. I think it was Sizzlers or somewhere. I can't remember exactly where it's at. But I ate that sucker and I almost died. I grew up eating shrimp. I went to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, when I was in the military and had the biggest coconut fried shrimp you can think of. One day I had me a plate of shrimp, and within minutes, my face is swelling. My eyes are turning bloodshot red. It's hard for me to breathe. I'm getting ready to pass out. I'm at work. I went to one of my coworkers and I was like, hey, man, is something wrong with me? Because I never had no reaction like that before to shrimp or anything. He said, yeah, man, you don't look too good. Next thing you know, I'm crying for an ambulance. Put me in the back of a ambulance in the holes. You know, they brought the cavalry, but they all staring at me in the back of the ambulance. And I'm like, okay, y'all gonna do something? And one thing all I remember after that was I grabbed hold of the hand of one of the EMTs. I was squeezing on his hand, like squeezing for dear life. Next thing you know, I wake up in the hospital and I'm kind of going in and out. I'm hearing the doctors talk about what they want to do. And they were trying to decide if they want to give me a trachea, stick this tube in my neck so I could breathe. And I go back out, I come back in, and I hear him say, give him a shot of adrenaline. I got adrenaline. I definitely remember that. That's woke me up. My whole body was like vibrating. And I remember my brother that came to see me at the hospital. He took some pictures, and my wife got to see him. She couldn't make it. She was with the little ones at the house, and she said she couldn't even recognize me. From that day forward, I kid you not, everything written in the law as forbidden foods, I still didn't know the law at the time. I wasn't following no dietary laws. But everything I ate after that started to mess me up. I used to enjoy barbecue pork at not barbecue pork. What's that? Pork fried rice. That's what it is. Yeah, at the China buffet. Ate that one time afterwards, and man, I got so sick. Stomach and everything turned upside down. And who was like, okay, I'm talking to you. Are you listening? Stop eating that crap. Stay away from them tapeworm making pork chops. Get you some turkey bacon. Yeah, now I'm at a place now. I'm when I go to the store to buy food, I'm in there with my magnifying glass reading that 2 paragraphs worth of ingredients. I'm Googling what is this long word I can't even pronounce in this, you know. Yeah, yeah. He woke us up. But just because he woke you up don't mean it ain't gonna be trials, ain't gonna be hard times, not gonna be, you know, how when you've been asleep, you've been in a deep sleep, you wake up, you just don't wake up and all of a sudden you see everything and you're smiling and you're happy. You come out of that deep sleep, you're trying to clear your eyes and so you can really see what's around you, trying to get stuff out your eyes and move around and stretch and loosen up because you was kept stiff, didn't move, bound, if you will. And that's where we're at right now. We're in the great awakening, unlearning so many of the lies they told us, the lies they perpetuated, the lies of when the pastor said it's okay to come out and eat some pulled pork for the church celebration. Yeah. Yahuwah knew what you needed to make it. He wrote the manual on your life, how men supposed to live in this life and the next. And until we apply that manual correctly in the context which it is provided to us, we're going to keep having issues with our vehicle. The vehicle is going to keep struggling mentally, emotionally, right? The whole aspect of the individual. All it takes is one wrong action and the whole vehicle's out of sync. Possibly won't even be able to move. And that's why we do these studies. It's not enough to just talk about, look at what's happening over there in Dust Bowl and, the fake chosen people and all this stuff. All that's nice and great, right? Information is a good thing to have. But it's nothing more important than knowing how we ought to live, how we ought to truly walk. The truth is so vital for how we ought to carry ourselves in these end times, because without the truth, what did he tell the taught ones on the Mount of Olives? He said, take heed that no one deceives you. How can you take heed as such great warning if you don't know the truth? Why do you think the internet is so flooded with fake messengers? Why do you think there's camps everywhere, popping up everywhere, people wearing fringes and tunics and tassels? So you don't know the truth. Over and over again, we hear in the word, there is a remnant that exists. And after judgment, in the midst of purging, and all throughout the word, we see a remnant only it truly ever entered the trial, was sustained in the trial, and actually left the trial. Okay, we only see that in very few. As we look at the scriptures, as we look at the word, all this big crowd, big show, a lot of people, all the that's never been the reality. Think about it, right? Yahuwah told the people that all that we see in the word that all his people came out of Egypt and everything they possessed, to include a mixed multitude. But everybody from the ages of 18 and older didn't make it into the land. And they told Moshe, he said, didn't we tell you to leave us in the land? They rather die in Egypt. They rather die in affliction, of oppression. They rather die eating pork and checking off their bucket list in judgment land rather than coming out of the nation's ways, expectations, evils altogether to arrive in the place he called his people. This is not new. And as we know, nothing is new under the sun. So that means we are literally living in the same experiences of the times of Moshe, the times of Joseph or Joseph in Egypt, Babylon, you name it, Assyria, you name it. But the enemy don't want you to see the narrow path. He don't want you to see the reality of the expectation of what it means to be the remnant. So he ensures that people flood you with so-called facts and information and messenger after messenger after messenger. You know, a lot of people treat it like the lottery. If I subscribe to all these channels and if Yahuwah speaks to one of them, I'm at least get notified. Get out your house and go down the street and wait over there because we're getting ready to destroy the neighborhoods with judgment. You know, you're looking for that kind of prophecy. Not looking for the turn from sin, walk in righteousness, stop watching the clock, keep your eye on the covenant. It's not what people want. So they got to tune in for the next breaking update, the next captivating story. We're not here to captivate a single individual. We're here to hold fast to the truth, period. Because when it's all said and done, that's all that's going to be left standing. That's it. And those tied to it are those who are going to be rewarded with it. Truth is forever. Truth cannot be changed. It cannot be altered. Anytime truth is changed, that means it was never truth to begin with. That means it was a lie from the rip. And it's time for us to have the discerning thought, the heart to go after the one who shows us discernment, so we're not caught up in the wash of the deception that's sweeping so many right off their feet. But we got a study we're going to get into. This study is for the men, but you definitely can hear it if you're a woman. Maybe you have a son, a brother. Maybe your husband's not present or won't hear it and won't listen to it, or maybe he's busy or whatnot, but it's things that you can learn to, you being a woman, from the word. You know, the word is not, you know, it's not like a what do you call it? A get into the club type situation. You know, you pay your dues, secret access. Yeah, the word's for everybody. Your ticket to that word is repentance. That's the ticket to it, right? The only thing you get at the door is repent. Once you do that, now you get access into the family. You get access into the information given to the family, the better card of blessings that come with that information. But you still hold to the same expectation. Endure to the end, period. No matter who you are, whether you're a tribe member or you're from the nations, endure to the end. Mm-hmm. Yes. So you will be esteemed for those that are joining this gathering with us here in this social media platform. We're using the Wicked's platform to communicate truth. I know they don't like it. That's why nothing over here goes viral. How dare they let something like that go viral? They better not do something like that. Truth be told, if this platform just so happened to blow up and stay up, and people just kept coming on here in droves talking about how good this guy is, look at all he's saying, oh, he's awesome. I mean, man, he gives. If it wasn't for William Brooks and Moving Mindset Ministry, I would never know the truth. I would never have been awakened. If people start talking like that, your eyebrow better shoot up about 3 inches. And you better start questioning what happened to this person. Woe unto you when all men speak well of you. Because they did the same thing to the fake prophets or messengers, the fake leaders in the days of old. So when people are esteeming you, right, and I get people to esteem me all the time, and I'm going to talk about that today. I was tested greatly here in these recent days. Someone giving me accolades and appreciations and so forth and so on. We're going to talk about that, especially for you men. But make no mistake about it, if someone gets on, if folks start getting on here, one day you roll over here, you see thousands and thousands of subscribers and likes and comments and all that. Yeah, something went wrong. Something went wrong, and Yahuwah be esteemed, I'll be the first one to tell you. Yeah. I don't want to be on the wrong side of the road. Uh-huh. But yes, we got a study called Binding the Strong Man, a Message to the Men. Men are going extinct. I'm not talking about man that got the parts. I'm talking about man that got the heart. Going extinct, becoming a rarity everywhere you look. I saw this trend long before I was awakened. Long before my eyes had come to the knowledge of the truth about the foundational realities and even deeper things. I started seeing these. I would talk to a couple in general conversation, maybe a counseling session, maybe a personal training session, just in variety of settings. And the man would typically be quiet and the woman would be talking. And no disrespect to the woman, but I wasn't talking to her. Right? No disrespect at all. I was talking to him, but he would be quiet and she would take over the conversation. There's an issue with that, period. Especially when the person's not talking to you. But y'all know that's a reality. Don't get it twisted. And it ain't nothing new. Slide on back to the Garden of Eden. Who did the serpent approach? Who did all the talking? Why we don't have one verse in there? One verse where Adam stepped in front of Eve and told the serpent, look here, you talk to me. You got something to say, God dog it. You said to me. Man, why he didn't step up? We're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about why men don't walk in their role and the purpose that's put on them from the most majestic one, not the role we have picked for ourselves or a role that the world has crafted through this, these ridiculous ideas of being a evil man because you want to be masculine. Now, we're going to talk about some truth in this reality. This is for men of all ages, young boys, teenagers, young men, old men, and anything in between. But first and foremost, the hell with this age. I love saying that. Happy prep day, right? The time zone which we're in right now, we're still in the prep day phase. We haven't hit our Shabbat. I know I've said Shabbat Shalom to you all, but technically we're not in Shabbat. If you want to say it early, that's okay, as long as you honor it as Yahuwah had commanded. Yeah, you should. In your inner being, it should be a Shabbat Shalom every day, really. If you're walking with the most majestic one. We talked about this last week. I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna tell you again. Let the wicked destroy the wicked. Don't get involved in nothing. Immigration, crime, politics, whatever it may be. Leave it alone. Stay out of it. It ain't your fight. The evil people who run the world and those who walk with them, follow after them, vote for them, they're fighting Yahuwah. They're fighting his judgments, his wrath. Don't get involved. Don't volunteer yourself to go do something that's going to cost you in this life and possibly even the next. Okay, I'm sure you heard about the stuff that's getting pushed through your algorithm of Spain, the invasion over there, the crisis, the state of emergency. Yeah, it's so amazing. How come it wasn't no state of emergency when the colonizers went around colonizing the lands? It was supposed to be in a time of we need refuge and freedom and protection and a new life. But now these people are headed to the same lands of the people that colonized the earth, and it's a crisis. Oh, it's an emergency. Tell the world about it. We need help. Y'all petition for them. Send them back such and such. It just shows up in your algorithm, right? No way you can have a phone and this nonsense don't make its way to it. Right? Just, you don't even, I wasn't thinking about this stuff, and the next it's in every one of the feeds, sharing content, and boom, there you go. Spain under attack. They're coming from all sides. What do we do? Protest the government. Call in more enforcement. Yep. Flooding Spain right now in big numbers. Big numbers is happening. The truth is, Yahuwah is invading the lands that did his people dirty. Mm-hmm. We are literally watching fulfilling prophetic realities. It's coming to fruition right in the face of everybody. Most people can't see that. They think it's just bad government, poor security, not big enough walls, so forth and so on. But Yahuwah is actually fulfilling what left his mouth a long time ago. Yahuwah of hosts has sworn by himself, surely I will fill you with men as with locusts, and they will lift up a shout against you. Jeremiah 51:14. This is a judgment on Babylon. We say, well, how come it's Spain if it's Babylon? Because remember, Revelation at 17:18, all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of the great whore, all have fornicated with her. Yes, Babylon stretches throughout every country, every nation. All the kings are as much as they try to pretend opposition with the people, they're all part of the same ideology. Mm-hmm. They're all part of the same scoop. I know people from different countries like to disassociate themselves with other countries because they were born in a particular land, right? Well, I'm not this person because I was born in Germany, or not this person because I was born. Listen, we're all part of the same, unless you either of the nations or you're of the house of Yahshua. There's no in between. There's no middle ground in the eyes of Yahuwah. There's no middle ground, right? But he promised that he would do such, and he's doing it as we speak. Greece, France, Italy, Austria, Germany, Russia, Portugal, Europe, Ireland, the list goes on and on. Men as locusts are coming in, flooding the nations who ravished his people, the nations who became wealthy, who built empires off the backs of his people. This is part of his judgment as well as his redemption. Okay? So what you are witnessing isn't simply poor political votes or voting in the wrong person, not carrying out proper policy. You're witnessing wrath coming up on the nations. What do locusts do? Locusts consume the crop. Mm-hmm. When the crop is consumed, what happens to the economy? They go to Bitcoin. And don't let what you see in on TV, the theatrics of immigration law and people running across the street, down the street from the agents fool you. They're still flooding these nations. There are more states. It's not like one big country like they try to make it out to be in America. What they do in Texas, they're not going to do in California. What they do in California, they're not going to do in Georgia. And you have border states that do not agree with each other. So while one may shut down the border, forcing people not to come in, the other one is wide open. Why? It's confusion in the Babylonian camp. Mm-hmm. Confusion that's hitting them left and right. For Yahuwah of hosts has purposed, and who will annul it? His hand is stretched out, and who will turn it back? Yashayahu Isaiah 14:27. Makes you think about that whole Scare 19 pandemic nonsense, right? Oh, we got a 6-month solution. We created a solution in 6 months. You show me where men had the ability anywhere in the truth to create something to counter the judgment of Yahuwah. No man can do that. What they did was create nothing but an illusion. And people went with that illusion, and it cost them. Why? Cursed is the man that trusts in man and makes flesh his strength. When you choose to make flesh, man, your strength, so you can get up, you can survive, you can thrive, you can overcome, then yeah, man, guess what? You have brought a curse upon yourself. Yes. Make no mistake, it's all about the deliverance of his people. Egypt turned against Egypt, nations being flooded with people as locusts into the land, the wars we see. This is judgment falling on the people. They are confused. They don't know where to turn, what to do, how to get help, how to turn it around. And that's how Yahuwah has done it. He confused the camps of the enemy. I remember that. I don't remember the actual group or the verse, but where he had told them to go down to the camp and blow the shofar. And they went down there and blew the shofar, and the men got up, confused as all get out, and started taking each other out. Yes, that's what's happening. Fulfilling his promise to protect, preserve, and restore his people. I will turn Egypt against Egypt. Yashayahu, Isaiah 19:2. Remember, Egypt was symbolized, we talked about this last week, above all things, they are the oppressor. Not just the oppressor, Yasharah, but they oppress their own people. And he said, I'm going to turn them against each other. Nation going to fight nation, brother going to fight brother. They all going to go at it. That's his word, that's his promise, and that's what we are witnessing as we speak. They're literally at war with each other. Oh, I'm a righteous Jew. You a bad Jew. I'm a oh my goodness. It's prophetic. You can't get around it. It's happening right now. The only question is, do you see it and do you receive it? And are you preparing for what comes afterwards? The world is in judgment because of what the chosen people had to go through, which was the chastisement from Yahuwah, but the wicked went beyond what they were supposed to go. They took out more than they ought to take out. They tortured more in ways that they shouldn't have done. And they know it. They know it. This is why many men are preparing or are being led to prep. Yep, they see it. They see it. This is why they prepping. If you go on the World Wide Web, man, one of the most trending things out there now is these preppers preparing to collapse. What should you do? Should you buy gear or should you build skill? Right? What kind of Jeep should you get? Should you go with a gas vehicle or a diesel vehicle? Should you head to the mountains or should you go down to the valley? Right? There's all this prepping that's taking place because they see what's coming. They see what's happening. They see the collapse fall. So many people talk about how empires in the past have collapsed. Many empires have fallen, and America's next. Yeah. All these nations are under judgment. America is just saying one of them. Yahuwah is making sure there's nowhere for the wicked to escape. So they're doing everything they can to get themselves ready. Training, running, even eating better. Changing their diet. Changing their circle, who they talk to, who they associate with. Right? Making sure they stocked up on supplies in their house. You know, most of these people have not read 2nd Ezra chapter 15 or 16, which if you start at chapter 14 and you make it all the way to 16, you would see what's been prophetically declared is unfolding right now. In chapter 16, we receive the actual blueprint, if you will, of how to endure what's coming, to truly prepare. Again, right? Your home is your castle. Fortify it now. Tons of content out there you can watch. You can binge watch, if you will. Take as much notes as you want because they got a lot out there of how you can protect yourselves. Men are preparing their families for the inevitable. Everything from how to shoot and drive while shooting, field dress deer, right? Where to meet at, how to communicate on the radio. What happens if you can't get a hold of somebody? So many tactics are being shown and demonstrated to the family members all over the earth right now. But the question is, if the nations could not stop their lands from being invaded, how are they going to stop the nations from entering their homes? How are you going to do that? All those doomsday preppers out there. I don't know if any of y'all doomsday preppers is listening to this, but if you are, how are you going to do it? If they couldn't keep the border from being invaded, how are you going to keep the people who come from the border invading your house? The problem is that people watch too much television. Yeah. Hollywood got people hoodwinked, thinking that they really gonna have some fallback route, some hidden spot that they're not gonna be able to. They're gonna be able to endure. They're gonna be able to survive what's coming. Whoa, my light fell. I need to sit still. But yeah, it's gonna be just like that. Boom! All of a sudden, everything gonna change, and people gonna be like, "Oh, what do I do? Where do I go?" Right? I was in the military, 2 branches of service. I did special operations, DOJ, and all that. One thing I can tell you is that when it all hits the fan, you went from plan A to plan K. Yeah, all that prepping and all that training we did when the stuff hit the fan. Listen, and most people, no matter how they like to fantasize themselves through the Hollywood studios, are not even halfway trained for what 𝐤𝐄𝐄 is going to bring on the earth. And as stated before, written in the word, who can annul, who can end what he has purposed, what he has sent forth? Yes. Hollywood got people excited thinking they're going to make it to a bunker. They're going to find a cave. They're going to hunker down at home, make it to an island. And then you got the far-fetched idiots thinking that they're going to make it big on the moon in their civilization in space. But a lot of deception exists for the reason in which we are seeing today, judgment. This is why men are already prepping to hide. Prepping to go into hiding. Prepping to survive, evade, resist, and escape. Did I say that correct? Seer? That's what they're prepping to do. Because the word said they're going to do it. The mighty men of Babylon has ceased fighting. They have remained in their strongholds, bunkers, caves, basements, so forth and so on, ditches, trenches. Their strength has failed. They have become like females. They have burned her dwelling places. Them people that came in like locusts. Her bars are broken. That big old wall, you think that's stopping people? At least Hollywood, the news tell you that. It's broken. Jeremiah 31 or 51:30. Book that talks a lot about judgment. Judgment. The nations know they have nowhere to go. They know that. Y'all remember when everything shut down during pandemic? There was people holding these cardboard signs up that said, "No one's coming to save us." They were Americans. Most of them were typically military, warning people that there was no backup. Yeah, they know they got nowhere to go, here and abroad. So they are trying to survive by preparing themselves for the inevitable. Doomsday bunkers is a price on the rise today. It's an industry that's blowing up. They can do everything from turning a Connex into a bunker to building you some thick slab brick on the ground and put you some oxygen tanks down there and a cooking stove and so forth and so on, even grow you some artificial vegetables, right? It's a big deal. The rich, the wealthy, yeah, they're definitely investing in these bunkers. It's a huge industry right now. And of course, you have the people who really think they're going to go to the space and, so-called space and build them a civilization separate from all humanity that didn't make the trip. Yeah. They think they're going to make that trip. That's what they believe. However, Yahuwah said, though they dig into the earth, bunkers, from there, my hand will take them. Though they climb up to the heavens, SpaceX civilization, from there, I will bring them down. Amos 9:2. They know they have nowhere to go. They know that. It's no mystery to these people. They know, not only do they know they have ran out of runway, they also know what they have done to the chosen people. The whole system is built on what was done to the chosen people. Use one of these so-called artificial intelligence systems and type in man and see the complexion, the nationality of the man that's created. Just type it in, right? You're going to get the people that built the nation, that built the deceptions of the nation, that rule this age. 2nd Ezra 6:9, Esau is the end of the world. It's a terrifying thing for a lot of men, no matter who you are, as far as your complexion or what nationality you ascribe to. Yes, fear has engulfed many men. Many men, they look over at their children, they wonder what they're going to do when all hell breaks loose. They look at their wife and wonder how we're going to make it. Where are we going to go? Do we have enough to survive? Do we have enough to make it? Can we sustain the judgment that's coming? So they take steps, invest in or save up, try to, buy up a bunch of gold so they could buy them a ticket to SpaceX, Star Wars, Star Trek base, wherever they plan on building this illusion, right? And then you got those who are digging deep underneath their own houses. Yeah. Or finding them some spot in some land somewhere deep underground, trying to get what was it? President Bush came out and said there's a massive bunker under the earth, many silos for people to restart civilization. Yes, a lot of people are like, well, I don't have access, so let me just start building mines. Fear has engulfed the hearts of many men, most men. But don't make no mistake about it. Fear will make a fool out of you. No man has an excuse for not obeying Yahuwah. Period. This is the problem that many men have. They don't want to be obedient to the one who allowed them to even be created. They have expectations that are built up on whatever it is, success, so-called success, church doctrine, education, military. And that is their excuse that they try to use in order to not obey him who says he is all sovereign and all will bow before him. Shaul or Paul is credited for writing, for since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes are clearly seen, being understood by the things which are made, even his everlasting power and might, so that they are without excuse. Romans 1:20. That is the problem many people have, is that they have excuses. But Yahuwah has revealed himself even in what we see that man cannot simply make on their own, no matter how much artificial nonsense they like to use, fake things they like to create. He said, look out around the earth and you will see that man walks this planet, whoever they may be, without a single reason not to yield unto his authority. Sadly, most men have the wrong leadership. That's the problem. I was the same way when it comes to so-called success. Looking at these motivational speakers, looking at some of these supposedly elites out here who made it big. That was my thought process. I was under the strong, the captivating strength of the Deuteronomy 28 curses, following after the ways of the nations, the ways of the wicked. But I'm so glad he woke me up. I'm so glad he gave me eyes to see and ears to hear, because, man, I would not want to be the people who reject him, reject truth, reject obedience. Many men are really struggling right now as we speak. Despite what they do on social media, despite how they perpetuate themselves as leaders and strong men with a lot of intellect and experience and knowledge and tactical skills, pursuit of wealth, whatever the case may be, many men are in a deep state of struggle mentally and emotionally. And it's really because of how society has crafted the ideology of man and perpetuated this nonsense throughout these recent years, more times than anything. Think about that if you played sports, Pop Warner Sports. I didn't get around to any of that stuff when I was a kid. But just showing up to the team, you got a participation trophy, even if the team lost, had a bad season. That's not reality. That's not a true experience in life. You get rewarded just because you happen to step on the field. But see, that's the thing. A lot of parents, especially single moms, didn't want their children to feel like they were left out. They didn't want them to feel like they didn't have what do you call it? They weren't a part of the team, so they will be rewarded just for being there. And now a lot of men have that expectation, and they are struggling on the inside because that reward don't really exist. It's when you're around a group of people, a crowd, if you will, and everybody's cheering, people handing out rewards, it feels all good. But when you go into your quiet space and you by yourself, you know the truth is you didn't earn squat. And you spend your whole life not earning truly nothing. And there's an emptiness that rests inside of you, and you're trying to figure out how can you get that emptiness fixed. And men turn to so many different things in order to try to fill that void that they have inside of them. And this is why most men remain trapped in their childhood, trapped in the past, hurt because life, they lived a life as a child shaped in their most vulnerable, fragile state with expectations that are not even real of what it means to be a true man, particularly a man after one who created all peoples. This is why folks got to head out and they got to get away. They can't be around people too long, or at least they don't desire to be around people too long when they got all those thoughts running through their minds. Don't get it twisted. There's nothing wrong with your quiet time in your so-called space. But more and more I see men, they have to just leave. They got to go get some type of therapy, find something for some type of therapeutic experience, because they seem to just be overwhelmed with life. Overwhelmed with life. Why are you overwhelmed with life when you were made to live as a father, as a husband, as a leader? Why? You got to ask yourself that question, because when you look at the men whom 𝐤𝐄𝐄 had recognized as righteous men, honorable men, the men he had called and chosen, sent, right? None of them took off and ran off by themselves. If they did, there was never a time it was excusable. From the time Jonah didn't want to go to Nineveh to the time Eliyahu ran off to the mountains. 𤤄𝐄𝐄 didn't say, I understand you're struggling. I understand it's hard for you. He didn't come with no counseling, therapeutic statements. Again, that's hard for a lot of people to receive, because we live in a world that's crafted around that. that weakness. I'm not talking about weak because you're simply a human and you can't do supernatural things. I'm talking about the weakness of it's hard to be a man. Sadly, a lot of men weren't raised to be men. Fathers were either absent or they were present but not really there, or showed them the very opposite of what it means to be a man according to what is written. So when the pressure hits, when it's time to live to the standard in which man was created, they have to take off running, find some kind of escape. Do not be fooled. Real men don't trend. I know I'd probably like, well, listen, all your motivational speakers, your big time pastors, and all these people, do you listen to what they say very closely? Do you listen to the words they say when the crowd isn't yelling and shout? When they in that deep conversation and that one question gets asked in the interview that brings them back to that childhood. I'm talking about these big time stars, these big time, oh man, this person's this, that person's that. Have you listened to them? Because I know I have. Because I'm listening. When I was so-called, when I was caught up in the world per se, as far as trying to be successful, right? I would listen to these individuals. Yes, even surprisingly, Bill Gates. I would listen to this guy too. Philanthropists, or whatever they want to call themselves to make them sound like they're somebody. David Goggins, T.D. Jakes, Tony Evans, or Tony Robbins, all these people I used to listen to. And I would listen intentfully because I'm trying to hear for that key phrase, that key statement, that key truth, if you will, that I can grab hold of to use to unlock my destiny, right? And as I'm listening to them, I hear grown men, wealthy, famous, highly praised and respected men who are still living in their childhood. Yes, if you listen to David Goggins before, this guy who runs around the world like he's a machine, when he talked about what he dealt with as a child when they called him the NIG G with a hard ER. I heard that nonsense the other day. I was like, come on. Anyways, but yeah, I've listened to him. He's still to this day, when he speaks, he struggles with that childhood experience. Same thing with Tony Evans. The man broke down in tears one of his shows about his childhood experience. Yes. All of them. You name it. Why are they so successful, but they still stuck in child life when that their heart is still there, their real pains is still there? Because they tell people what they want to hear and not what they ought to hear. And you can get rich doing stuff like that. Yes. Yes. Because you don't know your role, you're in bondage and cannot stand on your purpose. This is the number one reason man stays stuck. It don't matter what they did to you, however devastating it was, however devastating you have affected yourself. If you don't know your role, you will never be free as a man. Impossible. No matter what your pursuits are, no matter how much so-called success you achieve, if you don't know the very essence of why you were created, you will remain in chains no matter how free people may think you look. And the truth is, you know it. When all this noise stops, when all the applauding is gone, and when you are left alone with your own thoughts, you know you're still in bondage. You know you feel empty. All men do who don't know their role. But the devil has done a hell of a number putting these people in front of the faces of the masses, making it seem like they're so successful. Oh, Bill Gates built his business out of a garage or a trunk of a car, whatever the heck it was. TD Jakes used to have to drive a Pinto, taking out church trash, all these things that they put in front of your face. But it's so amazing because they never get to the root of their struggle and tell you how to overcome the struggle. They give you the feel-good fluff for $29.99 a month. And how can one enter a strong man's house and plunder his goods unless he first binds the strong man, and then he will plunder his house? Matthew or Matthew 20 or 12:29. Yes. All these strong men out here. You want to know how to survive this collapse of America? Subscribe to my channel. What are you thinking about doing? Building a bunker or finding a cave? Subscribe to my channel. We're building elite Christian men on the Christian Man Tactical Retreat. I've seen all that nonsense show up in the feed. But the man's in bondage. How do you know? Why do you need to go to a men's retreat? Why do you got to learn this tactical skills for the end times? Why are you doing all these things, trying to prepare for what's coming when nothing that you do is listed in the instructions that was given by the one who's sending what is coming? Don't you think you ought to do what the person said that's sending the judgment? But everybody's doing everything else. That's a clear indication of a man still in bondage when you do your own thing. Many reasons, again, why we stay, or men stay in general, trapped, locked up, can't get free. You could have had a deadbeat, no good, worthless daddy. Never was around, or was around and you wish he wasn't around. Spent your years as a kid all the way into the adult. Maybe you was looking at pornography last night, feeling lonely, getting dumped by a girl you thought it was you were supposed to marry, and now you're struggling mentally, turning to alcohol, drugs, and whatnot. There was a guy up in, I think, Northern California or somewhere in California that was trying to get him a girlfriend, a college student. And the girl told him no. And I guess he'd been turned down by a few. And he wasn't taught how to deal with no. So he decided to take that very expensive, I think it was a BMW car his parents had bought him for him to go to that very costly college, and took his college funds to go buy him some weapons and some rounds and drive by and shoot up and do all kind of crazy stuff, all because someone said no to him. Stuck in childhood, stuck in the days of being a broken child and never being free. Cannot break the chains. We're going to break these doggone chains today if you want them broken. We're going to do it with the word, because ain't no way to get free. Ain't no other way to get free than to do it with the word. Time to come up out these chains. It's time to come up out this bondage. Time to stop being that little boy. You 40 years old. You still that little boy when that storm come up in your life, sucking on your thumb, whining and crying because you getting hit with hard times. Because now you got to stand up and be a man, and ain't nowhere for you to tuck, duck, and run. Yeah, we going to break these doggone bondage. We going to break this nonsense. We going to get free. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. We're going to open up that door today, and you're going to choose what you want to do. Stay up in there. Hang out in that comfortable place of weakness. Or you're going to walk up out of there with your head held straight up to Abba Yahuwah, giving him the esteem that we address them damn lies that keeping you in bondage. Then Yahuwah said, let us make men in our image according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth. Better shift Genesis 1:26 in the beginning when he created man, he said, let us make man after us. People say, well, that's how you know the Father and the Son is different, because he said, you don't know the context. Okay. Yahuwah wasn't speaking to his son when he said that. He was speaking to his breaths, which you would see in scripture as spirits. In the Bible, you probably have, but he was speaking to his breaths. He said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness. What breath do Abba Yahuwah have? The breath of counsel, the breath of wisdom. Yes. He was saying, let us make man in the form in which we exist, so he can walk in truth, walk in counsel, walk in understanding, walk in discernment. That's what he breathed in Adam. He didn't just simply breathe life into the man. Life mandates wisdom. It mandates understanding. It mandates clarity. Or else you just a doggone zombie walking around fulfilling nothing, but just letting time pass by, waiting for your time to expire. What is the image and likeness of Yahuwah in the context of the word? So we're going to break this down. Because again, he said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness. We're going to break this down so you know what it means to be like him. Trying to come up out this weak nonsense. I'm tired of these limp wrists, fair weathered, jelly-backed, spineless men out here. This is ridiculous. Sensitive dudes. Sensitive. Getting your feelings hurt because somebody corrects your butt. Getting your feelings hurt because the truth came to a place you wasn't trying to let it go to. Yeah. I know we got these out here, these sweet brothers. Sweet men like other men. That's just, you're on your way to hell, period. Ain't no, I went to high school with this brother. And now he wearing black fingernails and switching his hips. Talking about spirits spoke to me. Ain't no, you know who spoke to you? The devil. Yahuwah don't speak to no gay men. I don't care what they tell you in church. You don't speak to no homosexuals, trisexuals, bisexuals, quad, whatever gender he don't speak to you. The only thing you're gonna hear from him is repent. Repent. Get your butt up out that man's bed. That's what he gonna tell you. Repent. You ain't hearing nothing else from him. So if somebody told you go ahead and start this business and all that, and you living that sweet, nasty life, you listen to Hashatan, the devil, father of lies. Yeah, we're gonna keep it transparent. I ain't here to rub your back. Done with all that. That's what your mom was for, and she didn't rub your back. Then guess what? Rub your own back, get up off your butt, get on your feet, man up. Yahuwah honors his word above his name. Tehillim Psalms 138:2. King David said, I will worship toward the consecrated temple and esteem your name for your covenant love and for your truth. For you have magnified your word above all your name. Yes. He said he had magnified his word above his name. So the question is for you, my brothers, how good is your word? Because your word is a reflection of your name. So how good is your word? Can you stand on your word? Matter of fact, can I stand on your word? Can I depend on your word? Or do you just be yapping, talking that good game, talking about what you gonna do, but you never do it? Yeah. Do you magnify your word above your name? Or are you slick? Slick, making agreements, talking about what you gonna do, making all these promises, but at the end of the day, you know darn well you ain't doing nothing. Yeah. You men, you young men, teenagers, can you hold fast to your word? Oh, I'm gonna do it, and you never do it. I'm gonna get to it. Oh, when that day comes, man, that day never comes. That day never comes. If you don't do it, you ain't never gonna do it. Yeah, real men don't procrastinate. They don't put off. And when they say they're going to do something, they're going to do it. Real men don't even yap a lot, to be real with you. They don't make a bunch of promises. They just fulfill them. They just take care of it. They make it happen. And they don't walk around with no doggone excuses or why they couldn't do. Oh, you don't know what happened to me when I was a kid. Man, something that happened to everybody when they was a kid. Why you keep making excuses? Man up. Man up and stop that nonsense. If you ain't going to do it, stop committing to it. Uh-huh. If you're not going to hold fast to it and don't put your hand out to receive it. Yeah. Yahuwah cannot change. Malak, Yahuwah, or Malachi 3:6. He can't change. He can't change. For I am Yahuwah, I do not change. Therefore, you are not consumed, O sons of Yaakov. He can't change. The question is, do you change? Are you that shape-shifting cat telling your wife you're going to do something and then you totally flip it and ain't got no legitimate reason why you did so? Making promises to your kids, promises to your supervisors, to your employees, to your friends, your associates, to your assembly. I got you, dog. And next thing you know, you're different. You changed. You held on to nothing that came out your mouth. Why? What's the excuse? Why you do that? Ask yourself. Be real with yourself. It's time for some introspection. You can't have no spine in your back if you ain't got no introspection. You need to search you and dig out that stuff inside of you that's holding you back. And why you continue to falter in the statements that leave your own mouth. Why you so wishy-washy, in and out and up and down, moving like the wind instead of being solidified and sound. Yahuwah cannot lie. Ibrahim, Hebrews 6:18. That by two immutable things in which is impossible for Yahuwah to lie, he might have strong consolation, who have fled for refuge to lay hold of the hope placed before us. The reason the chosen people who walked in obedience didn't lose belief, didn't lose hope, and remained steadfast in Yahuwah because they understood clearly, without question, that he cannot lie. He cannot lie. Now, do men lie? Of course they do. Every man lies. Every man has lied in their mouth. Lie have left their mouth before. But do you practice lies? Is the first thing to leave your mouth is a lie. This is why I didn't have too many male groups and female groups either, but particularly male hangout groups. I never really vibe with them kind of groups, worldly groups, and even church groups. Because you get to talking, and next thing you know, man, people have these so outlandish stories of all the things they've accomplished, or they start going back to their childhood, their younger years, and man, they ran 25 touchdowns in a game, and I'm just like, man, what? The question comes down to is whether or not the question isn't whether or not you have lied in your life. The question is your life built on lies? Is that your formality? That you have this illusion that you are something that you're not, that you sell to other people? Because the truth is, we all salesmen and saleswomen. We all are giving out something in order to get something in return. Yes, believe it or not, whether you walk in the truth or not, you are a sales individual. You're selling something. You're projecting something because you want something in return. I don't project fruit cupness, limp wrists, jellyback sweetness. I don't do that. I don't walk around. My pants ain't extra tight, and I don't swing my hips. Yes, I walk around like a man. Because I want people to respect me as a man, not a half man, a bi man, or whatever that nonsense people be living according to. So when you open your mouth when you set out to accomplish something, is it normally a lie, deceit, deception? Ask yourself that question. Dig into your life. Get into what you did last night and the day before and 10 years ago. What pattern do you have? Are you still awakened, but you still lying? I mean, are you awakened, but you still lying? It's time to break it free. It's time to take that two-faced nonsense junk off. Stop telling all them fake stories about what you did when you was younger on your football team. Heck, stop talking about them stories in general unless you got a testimony from it. Time to break away from that facade. Put on the true face of righteousness and be honest. Be real. Be upfront. Don't be trying to make sure people like you. So you got to cater and craft your story. Throw a little extra spice on it so they can be like, oh, man, that's cool. Be real with yourself. Because Yahuwah knows what time it is. Yahuwah is not inconsistent. Okay, he is not inconsistent. For every good and perfect gift is from above. For every good, not some, not most, every good gift and perfect gift is from above and comes down from the Abba of lights, with whom there is no variation or shadow of turnings or shifting shadows. Jacob, James 1:6. Yes. He's not no in one day and out the next. Again, my brothers, Yahuwah said, let us make man in his image and after his likeness. We need to know what he's like. And he's shown us and spoken to us in his word what he's like, so that we can walk in his likeness and not in the likeness of what they taught you in school, indoctrination camps, what you learn on the job, what you learn from a so-called motivational speaker. You need to know the character in which he's projected to us about himself so we can walk in that character. And that character is he is consistent. He is consistent in how he moves. He's consistent in what he says. He's consistent in the thought in which he has for man. The question is, are you consistent? Or can somebody, one day everybody happy to see you. You're an excited individual to see when you come into your house, your job, or wherever you go. But all of a sudden something happens and now people like, shit, I don't want nothing to do with that cat. Yeah, come in. The atmosphere is smooth. It's great. And next thing you know, it's up and down. And now people don't know what to expect when they see you coming. They got to try to read you from a distance. Is he on some kind of time today? Or is he all right? They got to feel you out. Inconsistent nonsense. The truth is clear. A man of Yahuwah, no matter the season, no matter the rain, shine, snow, or sleet, they are always going to stand in the position in which they have been established. No matter how difficult it may be. This is where Yahuwah is calling us to. This is his ancient past. His ancient past was never you being up one day and down the next. And not saying, well, we live in the flesh, so it's hard. So I can't do it today. No, that's the world's thoughts. That's the world's ideologies. That's how they perpetuate what a man is, or a human in general. That you just somehow, because of life or whatever the case may be, cannot maintain consistency. You need to walk after him. And you need to walk after him alone, which means separating yourself from the ideologies of society. You're going to rock this truth no matter what the hell happened to you. Period. Yahusha or Joseph, or not Joseph, Yehoshua, Joshua said, as for me and my assembly, my domain, my dwelling place, my house, we will serve Abba Yahuwah. He didn't say we will serve him up until the point it becomes too difficult, up until the point somebody else don't want to participate. People should know what to expect from you every time you show up, because that's how consistent you rock. Even if you fall off, they know they can look at you and say, shit, he gonna be back up. One of my brothers said this. My wife had to remind me of it. She said, man, he said, William always bounced back. He always come back. I don't track my record. I understand that. I don't be like, oh yeah, I overcame it. Ooh, I ain't no pride and none of that nonsense. But there's a consistency in there. I had a brother of mine, he's a professional boxer. Served in the Navy with me. One day we were talking about establishing businesses and all that, reuniting. And he said, and this is after I had joined I had re-enlisted and went into the Army. He said, man, you always pick the hard jobs. Consistency. People ought to know what you are when they come and see you. They look at you like, oh, what are you on today? I don't know. Let's see. He's not really smiling, so he may be on one. We don't know what's going on. Let's give it some time to fill it out. Yahuwah does not tolerate sin. Habakkuk 1:13. He don't tolerate sin. He don't tolerate sin. I've said this before. If you don't tolerate a little poop in your pie, why would you tolerate a little sin in your life? Does that mean you are sinless, as if you've never failed, as if you've reached a place of pure perfection? Certainly not. But it's a difference between tolerating sin and not tolerating the evils, the wickedness, the idolatry, and so forth and so on that comes your way or that rise up in your own brain. Sins of the heart, sins of the past. Do you tolerate them? Yahuwah don't. So why do you? You are of pure eyes than to behold evil, and cannot look unto wickedness. Cannot look. He can't even look at it. All these folks, all that nonsense they perpetuated in church, talking about what do they say? Sinners saved by grace. Ain't no, that nonsense lines up nowhere in the word. You are not if you are a sinner, that means you practice sin, which means you will not receive deliverance. So Yahuwah ain't looking down at you. The Almighty not looking down at you saying, well, that's a sinner saved by grace. No, that's a person under judgment. That's a person under judgment. Yes, I just got a text from my mama, and she said my daddy used to call me the comeback kid. I forgot all about that. That's true. He used to call me that. I'm always bouncing back, especially for them whoopies that he gave me when I was acting up. Yeah, I'm glad he whooped my butt. I'm glad my daddy whooped my butt. Seeing all these weak men out here today. Getting somebody call you a name, and next thing you know, you laying on the side of the road crying. Shit. I went to boot camp laughing at my instructors. They thought I was being disrespectful. I was like, nah, it was just, my daddy he gave me the business many times over. He was super militant. So y'all in here with y'all trying to be hard. I'm like, man, stop it. Quit playing, man. But Yahuwah be esteemed. Yahuwah be esteemed. Anyways, do you look on wickedness and enjoy yourself? Right? You be like, I don't want to look at that stuff. I don't want to see that wickedness. Or do you say that hell with that junk? I don't want no doggone pork. I don't want your stupid successful, want to be a make it big type nonsense. I don't want to lose my inner being trying to enjoy what is perishing or was never meant for the chosen people. Many of y'all trying to pursue success in the earth, but the truth says, seek ye first the kingdom of righteousness, his kingdom, his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. He knows what you need before you ask. But that goes back to, do you know his character? Do you know that he's not going to say he got you and then don't get you? He cannot lie. He's consistent. If it leaves his mouth, it's going to do exactly what it was sent out to do. Yahuwah is a refuge for those in need. He is a refuge for those who are in need. Man. How many times people told me I got you, brother? As soon as I was in need, it was like, tell you what. Yeah, okay. I know somebody over here. But you said, man, come on. Are you that kind of brother? Man, I got you. What you need, brother? I got your back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's do it. And then when the storm comes to my life, I don't know where you went. Where you at? Ain't even answering your phone. Get out of here. Mm-hmm. The name of Yahuwah is a strong tower. The righteous run to it and are safe. Mishalayim, Proverbs 18:10. The name of Yahuwah. Remember, King David said he magnified his ways above his name. He wants you to know what his name means by the way he carries himself. He wants you to know what does Yahuwah really mean? What does Yahusha really means? He's not telling you what it means by simply telling you what it means. He's telling you what it means by how he demonstrates, how he shows himself, how he displays, projects himself in his actions. And his actions clearly says that his name is a strong tower. Mm-hmm. So when people call your name, when they in a storm, my brother, you men, when they going through it and they need a strong tower, does your name come up in their mind? Or do people think of your name and they say, I probably shouldn't call that brother. Yeah, I don't think he gonna answer his phone. I don't even know if he gonna, because remember the last time I asked him and he was like, yeah. What your name represent? Again, let us make man in our image and after our likeness. Does your name reflect his image and his likeness? Can people run to you as a refuge in the time of their need? And I always talk about dropping money on somebody's account. It's not even always sending them food. But can they speak to you? And they receive refuge from you because that's the name you actually hold fast to. You got to think about that. You really ought to ponder that deeply. What's your name? James, Tom, Tyrone, William, Steve, Bill, Jack. What your name is and what your name represent. You know it and everybody else know it. When they need help, do your name come up as stay away from that person or reach out to them because they got you? I'm not talking about people trying to abuse you, take all your money, you misuse your help. I'm talking about when people really in need and they need refuge. Yeah, make you really think, start thinking about all them people that you have dealt with, whether it be family members, co-workers. I'm sure you know somebody out there, maybe you do, maybe you don't, of a name you can call on, a person out there that exists, a brother, that when you say their name, they come in full force, got your back, ain't gonna stay in there in the mud with you until y'all pull each other out, until he pulls you out, help you get out of there. Someone you could truly lean on. I know that's becoming a rare thing these days. All these limp wrist cats out here, sensitive, no direction individuals. That's why we're doing this study. Yahuwah is intentional. Yahuwah, Isaiah 46, 9 through 10. He's intentional. He's not just aimlessly doing what he do. He don't just aimlessly move about his existence. So many people do that nonsense today. Casually, no objective, no projection, no real focus, no aim, just lolly da 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 through life. Man, if that ain't one thing that just boils me over on the inside. I look around, the world is going to hell fast as hell. fast. And people just strolling, taking it easy, no real discernment. Just, that's why it's hard for me to go out. It's hard for me to go out. I got to go out there, but it's hard. Especially when you have conversations with these individuals. And I'm thinking to myself, like, do you even have the slightest clue of what's happening and what's coming? However, how you deal with that is part of being a man too. Are you intentional? Remember the former things of old, for I am 𝤉𝐄𝐄. There is no other. For all you is talking about, there's two entities. I am 𝤉𝐄𝐄, and there is none beside me. Man, he says it twice. Oh no, there's a son out there. They told us that in church. Declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times things which are not yet done, saying, my counsel will stand, and I will do my pleasure. Yashayahu, Isaiah 46, 9, 10. He's not simply saying, I run the show, I'm the big, great creator. And he's saying that I'm going to do what I said. My counsel cannot falter. I'm intentional when I move. I'm intentional when I speak. I'm intentional when I think. I don't just get up haphazard with no real objective. Too many men are plugged into the doggone matrix. Yeah, everything you do is matrix set. Drop the kids off at school. Go to the grocery store. Do this, do that, show up for work, go to the meeting, such and such. Matrix, no intent, just going with the stream of the flow. Why do you think so many people got hoodwinked when Scare 19 happened? Because they didn't know how to think for themselves. The world taught you school, college, your employment. They all taught you what to think, but they didn't teach you how to think and how to think intentional. When you think intentional, doggone it, you know how swindled down your list goes of the people you reach out to for understanding, counsel. It becomes so small, super small, because you realize that the world is not built on intention. This evil world given into the hands of the wicked is built on casual, apathetic, no drive, absolutely lazy, give me comfort, convenience, nonsense. And ain't no man of Yahuwah walking like that. Period. I don't go places unless I don't even, when I go to the store to shop, I don't be just up in the aisle looking to see what I could buy. Look when I just look. I go there with intention, so I can get in that doggone store and get the heck out. I hate wasting my time. Period. I'm not in there looking like, oh, let me see. Maybe this shirt might fit. I know. I use the internet to my benefit. Okay. I go on these stores that I buy stuff on, and I put what I want in the cart. And I check. A lot of them now tell you what aisles things are on. So I'm like, okay, I already got my list in the cart. I'm going from aisle to aisle, grabbing and get out of there. What I'm hanging out at Walmart for? In Wally World, all them crazy people, nonsense be happening up in there. No, I don't do that. We going somewhere? It's intentional. I'm not just taking no stroll. No. Real men are intentional about everything they do. Period. If it don't have no benefit, I'm not getting involved in it. Period. My time is too valuable. The most valuable resource man has is time. Don't let people try to condemn you or listen to their condemnation, saying, "Oh, look at you, buddy. You don't seem like you ever slow down. You this and that. Just relax a little bit. Take a breath." I do breathe. I breathe easy. I sleep good too. You know why? Because I'm intentional. I'm not worried about, oh, what's this happened, that happened. I'm intentional. I don't study the word of Yahuwah because it's time to do it. You know what I'm saying? I don't get on these studies because, okay, it's 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. No, I'm intentional. Real men are intentional, and it's time for you to be such. Everything you do. You got associations, they're not intentional, cut them cats off. Cut them off. Because all they're going to do is pull you back, keep you from going forward, drown you out with the nonsense. Your association needs to be intentional. How you spend your money needs to be intentional. Who you give advice to, who wants advice from you needs to be intentional. I don't give everybody advice that reach out to me. One of the reasons because most people want my opinion. So I don't give you no opinion. I don't got no stinking opinion. I'm gonna tell you what the words say. What's my opinion matter? I'm a man I'm a fleshly being. Die today right now. Oh, yeah, he has some good things to say. I want you to have a word. Again, when it's all said and done, truth is what's gonna last. And if you ain't intentional, you're not gonna be on that side where truth is. This counselor gonna stand. Period. Be intentional on what he says. Ain't that all this shifty fake man nonsense that's happened today? No real direction. It's all over the doggone internet. All over the internet. That's the sad part about it, is because the internet has captivated the minds of the masses. It has captivated most people. They go to it for every answer they can think of. Yes. And what they find, people with no real direction, no real understanding. Like I shared in a post here just this week. I was watching this video. These men went out with these super expensive cars, overpriced tires, supposed to be expert off-roaders or overlanders, whatever they call themselves, right? And they couldn't figure out how to get the car running because the battery had drained out. So they knew they needed to charge the battery, and all of a sudden, oh, we need jumper cables, but nobody brought them. That's not intentional. That's haphazard, casual excitement for the attention of the masses, but you as an individual not personally intentional in how you move, how you operate, how you speak, because the internet is not about you being intentional. It's about you being influential. And however you can accomplish that to be able to be so-called internet successful, do that. And guess what it leaves out? How to think. It just shuts your brain down. Because again, what's this fake information? They call it artificial intelligence, which is nothing more than accumulated ignorance, right? That you got the search engines, and you got now heck, you can type in, build a program for me, build a teaching for me, build a this, and then boom, it's all done. You didn't do anything. So that cognitive switch that caused you to think for yourself now is actually removed from many people's brain and thrown to the trash. That's not a man of Yahuwah. That's not a man of Yahuwah. Yahuwah loves justice, whatever that looks like. When I was typing this up, that came right into my inner being, whatever it looks like, because the world has this illusion of what justice looks like. And if it don't look like this, then it's not justice, right? It's not actually righteousness if it don't perpetuate this certain image. But you go out and look throughout the entire world, Yahuwah brought justice upon a people in variations of forms. One king was refusing to yield to him, was all big-headed, telling people how he is this, he accomplished that, and Yahuwah's justice that he dropped on him was to make that man crawl the earth like an animal, eat with the animal in the wild. The house of Yasharal, look at them. Look at them. He said, I will visit the iniquities of the fathers upon the children of children to the third and fourth generation. And what happened? Deuteronomy 28. Where did the people go? Transatlantic slave trade, the millennial, 1,000-year Arab slave trade. Horrific atrocities, chattel slavery. I mean, something the world has never even can compare to any event in history. But he loves justice, and he's not, real men love justice like Yahuwah loves justice, but they don't try to shape justice to fit their desire. They love justice that fits his will, how he wants justice to go down. Like when Yahusha went into the wilderness or went into the Garden of Gethsemane, he said, not my will, but your will be done. And his will was justice, how he wanted it to carry out. Okay. For Yahuwah loves justice and does not forsake his consecrated ones. They are preserved forever, but the descendants of the wicked are tossed out. He rids himself of the wicked. Telling Psalms 37:28. Yes. Oh yeah. How many times he brought justice upon the wicked? And it was in variation of forms. How many times did he preserve his consecrated ones under his standing of justice? And it was different. Yes. How he preserved Elijah or Eliyahu was different from how he preserved Daniel in the lion's den. But he loves justice. Understand that. Do you love justice, or do you love your version of justice? Come on, men. Young men, old men, what type of justice do you like? A lot of reasons why people don't experience the better side of Yahuwah's justice, because they have their own expectation of justice. Yahuwah could have already justified your situation, or what happened to you when you were a child, what happened to you in your past marriage, what happened to you on that job. But because you have an expectation for justice to go your way, how you expected, how you had planned it out and wrote it out on your justice paperwork, you don't even see, or you can't even experience what he's already done in your life. Got to get out of your own thoughts about what you want and get into his thoughts about how he moves. So when he does what he does for you, or when he wants to do it for you, you can see it, you can receive it. Yes, he balances the scales all the time. All the time. I've witnessed this so many times in my life. Yahuwah will balance the scales. I had a company coming against me because I wouldn't tolerate their corruption and how they would treat certain employees certain ways. So I went after them as far as documentation is concerned, putting it all down. And Yahuwah be esteemed, had built a great reputation. So when I wrote or spoke, people listened. So the people who didn't like that started coming for me. Next thing you know, the entire company closes down. Then I had a supervisor that was coming for me, working in federal prison, trying to destroy me, trying to build a witch hunt of people against me. Then I find out, with no desire, I didn't petition for it, didn't even expect it, that the man took his own life. Yahuwah loves justice. However, his justice is according to his will. And he gonna hand it out one way or the other for both sides. Period. Again, what side are you standing on when it comes? And do you truly receive it or even recognize it? All comes down to your expectations. Yahuwah is no respecter of persons, Romans 2:1. Yes, he is no respecter of persons. So you know quite clearly when he said to Abraham, I'm going to make your seed bless your seed, and your seed will bless the world. Through your seed, the whole world will be blessed. Before there was an Esau, before there was a Jacob, before there were so-called races, racial discrimination and all that nonsense, he had promised the world through the seed of Abraham that all nations will be blessed. So who are these men? Who are these men claiming to be his people, but rejecting the people of the nations from salvation? Who are they? They're not his men. No, they're not. They are men bound, one reason or another. Maybe they dealt with a so-called racist cop. Maybe they just spent too much time watching Roots and Color Purple. Who knows? But whatever the reason may be, they're not his men. They are their own men doing their own thing, which at the end of the day proves they serve Hashatan, the lawless one. For there is no partiality with Yahuwah. If he's going to bless you, he's going to bless you no matter if you are a Hebrew or you a Gentile. You honor him, you hold fast to him, He's going to fulfill his promise to you like he'd do anyone else. Period. Your level of blessing may be different. The way he bless you may be different, but he's still going to do it because that's his word. Showing us how to be a real man, holding fast to his word, holding fast to the truth. When I was working in so-called federal prison, which is nothing more than a big old campground for retirement, a big old retirement home, school, or playground, depending on what you went to prison for. But I had an individual, though, it was a playground for him. He walks up to me and he starts to talk to me, and I'm already knowing just by his body language and how he's speaking, he's trying to manipulate me. He's trying to get to know me. Hey, what's your favorite sports team? Never had one. What do you do when you get off work? What you're not doing because you're still here. Okay? Trying to manipulate me, right? But no matter what he tried to do, he couldn't get over. An individual walked up to him, laid his hand on his shoulder. He said, listen, let me tell you something about CO Brooks. That's what they call you, CO, correctional officer. He said, no matter what you tell him, the answer is going to be no. His whole world came crumbling down because he thought he was going to get over on me. Yes. I did the same thing for the so-called white inmates, Hispanic inmates, the Asian inmates, the Native Americans. Okay. I made sure I did it for the so-called black people because, that's obviously that's my brother right there. He going to do for me. He going to negative. No respecter of persons. I'm going to hold fast to consistency when I'm dealing with whoever because you're all in the same situation. And I'm going to apply the rule as it's supposed to be applied. Same thing when it comes to the truth. Is the rule applied as Yahuwah has established it in the consistency in which he established it in the according to whom it applies? The word clearly told us when the people came out of Mizraim, he said there is one law for the native, there's one law for the sojourner, there's one law for the Hebrew. So the question is, are you a respecter of person, my brother, you men out there, or do you favor another group? This is a big deal for a lot of men because they look for their so-called association. They struggle in certain circles. And I mean circles of people who don't look like them. But yet they want to get into the kingdom where he said, oh, my house will be a house of petition for all nations. Yes. Again, there are levels in the house. Everybody wasn't born at the same time. I know people try to create that doctrine today, but everybody's not born at the same time, which means everybody has a different level of responsibility. So how do you operate? Yes. Your ability to lead, protect, and support those who lean on you comes down to how you lean on the truth. Do you lean on the truth when you want to? Do you lean on the truth when it's comfortable for you? When it's convenient for you? Or do you lean on the truth because it's the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you Abba Yahuwah? Yes. How you lean on it is going to determine how you stand in these last days. Period. It's going to determine what kind of man you really are. Yes. Don't make no excuses for your life or what you've been through or what happened to you. Because everything that just happened before my mouth, before I just said that happened, it's done. It's over. Can't go back, can't change it, can't fix it. Can't do it over, can't get no repeats, can't get no do-overs, say no video game. You ain't hit no restart button. You got to walk in with what you know now. Learn from what you've been through before. Use it as stepping stones. Use it as testaments, as examples to help build you to be a better man every single day. Building yourself up at Abba Yahuwah and what he has commanded his people to do in these last days. Who is Yahuwah to you? Who is he to you? You still thinking like a church person? Mm-hmm. Who is he to you? Yahuwah is my shepherd. I will not want. Telling Psalms 23:1. I will not want. Not going around lacking for emotional comfort, lacking for mental stability. If Yahuwah is shepherding you, you don't lack nothing. Of course, they use that in church for some silly nonsense about money. But why Yahuwah gonna give you money, but your mind is empty? How he gonna give you a financial barakah, but you emotionally unstable? Yahuwah is my shepherd, and I will not want for a single doggone thing. Period. Yahuwah is my light and my deliverance, and whom will I fear? Yahuwah is the strength of my life, of whom will I be afraid? Telahim 27:1. Why are you scared? How you following him and you scared? You Hebrew, you Gentile. Before you tell me about your fears, ask yourself why you got them. Before you petition Yahuwah about your fears, ask yourself why you got them. What you scared of? If he is your deliverance, do you really believe that? Or you just saying it because it was a nursery rhyme? They sung it in church. The preacher said it right before he said, we're going to get some pork dinner after this. Mm-hmm. Is he your light? Does he really guide your feet at night? In these dark, evil, wicked, ridiculous, hellacious times, does he guide you? Is he delivering you from the things you've been walking in, the ways you've been keeping? Yeah. Is he really that to you? Or it just sounds good? Yahuwah is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer. He's 3 for 1 right there. My mighty one, my strength in whom I trust, my shield and my horn, and the horn of my deliverance, my stronghold. Tehillim 18:2. Mm-hmm. Ain't no excuse to be no weak man. Period. Period. King David made a very weak decision when he had that man killed for his wife. But he didn't stay in weakness. Mm-hmm. He didn't make excuses for his weak decision. He owned up. He fessed up. He repented before Abba Yahuwah. And you don't hear him doing that anytime going forward. Now imagine if he said, well, I was just, feeling weak at the time because I was going through it and, feeling kind of emotional. You don't know what my daddy did to me. You don't know what happened when my mama wasn't around. My siblings never treated me right. Imagine if that was David's way of his approach to what he did to that man. You'd hear about David doing it again and again and again and again. Yes, and he sure wouldn't have been a man labeled as a man after the heart of the most majestic one. Mm-hmm. Yahuwah is my strength and song, and he has become my deliverance. Man, do you get joy? So much joy you got to sing about it. You got to vocalize the joy that you have from the strength he gives you. Singing about how you was emboldened to turn away from that evil. How you didn't give in to that doggone sin. He made a way of escape and you took it. Deliverance ain't simply about him snatching you up. Deliverance is often and most times about you snatching yourself up. You getting your butt up out that situation. You seeing the evil, you fleeing from it. You deciding, I don't need to do that. Let me go ahead and roll this way. Yahuwah is my strength and my shield. My heart trusts in him and I am helped. You ever wonder why you don't get no help? Whatever area it may be, mental, emotional, psychological, physical, financial, why you don't get no help? Telahim 28:7, it said, my strength and my shield protecting you. King David said he trusts in him. Trust is not wavering. It is not up and down. It is not sometimes, someone, or none of that nonsense. Trust is consistent. Whether you think, whether not you think, but whether the situation looks like Yahuwah ain't nowhere around and ain't never coming, you still trusting in him. He don't never show up when you want him to. But doggone it, he ain't never late. He ain't never late. I'm telling you, I witnessed this so many times in my life. On time. He is always on time. But he ain't never on time for people who don't trust in him. In fact, there have been times he did show up in your life and made a way, my brother, and had the door open, opportunity to set you free, to deliver you. But because you didn't trust in him, you couldn't even see it. Some of you know what I'm talking about because you're looking back in retrospect. And you realize, man, that was my way out. I didn't take it. But let me learn from that I may move forward accordingly in the next event that may come out. Yahuwah is my portion, says my being. Therefore, I hope in him. Lamentations 3:24. Yahuwah is his portion. Is he your portion? When you are lacking, when you need a portion in your life in somewhere, some area, some way, is he your portion, or is it the therapist? Is it the medication? Is it the video game? Is it the I gotta go camping because it's my thing? Who is your portion? What is your portion? Where does your being rest when it's in need of fortification? Is it need of serenity? Yes. Yahuwah is my helper. I will not fear. What can flesh, man, the people who put on their pants like me, get out of the bed like me, what can they do to me? I ain't worried about nobody. I don't care how big you are, your tactics, your skills, your intellect, what you think you know or maybe know. That don't bother me none. Because I've seen Yahuwah bring down some of my greatest enemies. Yes. Even before I knew his name, showing his loyalty, his consistency, his unchangeable character. Well, I don't live in fear, and that honor belongs to Yahuwah. I ain't scared one bit. Period. Scared to lose nobody or nothing. I done seen his hand time and time again. I have witnessed his deliverance time and time again. He has given me vision and dream about him, his way, what's coming, how to prepare time and time again. Many of you seen it too, but do you trust that he has spoken clearly to you when he said, I will never leave you nor forsake you? Fear not. Fear not. What are you scared of? He's sending the judgment. He's sending the wrath. So what you terrified about? Let it go. Let it go, or you can't be that man he called you to be. Stop walking in fear. I don't want to hear nothing else about no demons talking to me. The demons talk to every doggone body. Stop listening to them. Listen to the word. Put the word in your doggone ear. Read it aloud. Repeat the verse. Dig into the context. Read the entire chapter. Stop coming in being weak. Stop being limp wrist. Be strong in Abba Yahuwah in the power of his might. Revelation clearly tells us, said the cowardly, liars, sorcerers, perverted lifestyle people, sexually immoral people, said, all y'all going to the lake of fire. Stop being scared. He ain't gave you no breath of fear. He ain't gave you that. That's you listening to the doggone devil. That's you thinking too much about your past and not the testimony thereof, the fact that you overcame, that you still here. You still here. And let that past be your stepping stone into a greater relationship with Abba Yahuwah, not the doggone stumbling block and excuses you keep using for being weak. Man up. Man up in Abba Yahuwah. Yahuwah is my refuge, a strong tower from my enemy. Tehillim 61:3. Psalm 61:3. It's a strong tower. That means he's high above the enemy. Enemy can't come get you. What are you going to do? You got to get up in the tower of Abba Yahuwah. That's why people start tucking and ducking and running. Watch, stand fast in the belief, act like men, be strong. 1 Corinthians 16:13. Trying to walk in your place, man. That is the character of Abba Yahuwah. I don't care who they are. Your wife, some woman, other men, kids, your supervisor. Stop cowering, stop being weak. The world is set up to challenge men because men was whom Yahuwah had created first and had trusted dominion to. So you're going to constantly be challenged by these people who claim to be, or may not even claim to be his people, but they're going to constantly come against you because you're being tested so you can be found proven worthy. Proven worthy. Yeah. Yes. I used to be overly zealous, if you will, big-headed. Nobody couldn't tell me squiddly diddly. And the truth is, most people can't tell me nothing now because I let the word speak to me. I let Yahuwah speak to me. As the truth says, you don't need no teacher. For his anointing, which is his breath, teaches you all things. Those who are called and sent are the most majestic one. But nevertheless, because I was in a state like Shaul or Paul, where I would exalt myself beyond measure, put myself in this place of such and such when I was a churchgoer, Christianity nonsense. The enemy tries to pull me back into that state, challenging who I am in Abba Yahuwah. And I had someone in a call here, a gathering here a week ago. Say, I'm not exalting you, I'm not praising you, but you are the only person on the internet, the whole internet. I know that ain't true. I may not have found none, but I know that ain't true. You're the only person that speaks the truth. Maybe the only person that they found. Yes, truth tellers are rare. Make no mistake, it's always been that way. It's written in the word. If the remnant who will be saved is few, how many people whom Yahuwah has appointed as his messengers are there among that remnant? But nevertheless, this person spoke in a way that tried to test me to see if I will stand on business, aka the truth, with all they trying to pump my head up. Sure enough, it wasn't long after another group that person entered and started yipping and yapping and talking a whole bunch of grease about the work Yahuwah is doing through me. Talking down to the work he's allowed me to do for our family tour project. Now I was left with a decision. Was I going to stand by and let this person keep on yipping and yapping because they had spoken of how good I am and how I bear truth and all, or was I going to drop that hammer? Yahuwah be esteemed, that hammer came down hard. Yes, that's what it's about being a man. He loves justice no matter what it looks like. He is consistent no matter what happens. He cannot change. He cannot lie. Do you think the temptation didn't cross my mind to just let this person continue on because I didn't want to mess up how they had given me these accolades? Of course it crossed my mind. But you know what I want above all things, now and forever? To hear him say, well done, my good and loyal servant. So if that means you are no longer my friend, because I brought the hammer from Yahuwah down on top of your lie, so be it. It would be nice if it didn't have to be that way. But I'd rather the esteem of Yahuwah than the praises of men. That is what we ought to walk in consistently, without wavering. We fall, get your butt back up. Get your butt back up. Stop tucking tail. Stop whining. Stop crying. Stop dwelling on what was. Get up. Move forward. Get up. Act like a man. Be a man. And don't settle for a doggone less of nothing. What you gonna do with it, brothers, men, old, young, in between? You gonna sit there whining, or you gonna break free? Are you gonna continue to act like life is just too hard for you? Or are you gonna come to the realization that life's supposed to be hard for you because he had given you dominion over life? The woman can't have a child without you. I don't care what these evil people try to do or what they claim. The world doesn't even move without a man. Look what happened when men stopped being men. Look what happened when men started painting their fingernails, putting makeup on, wearing dresses. Look what happened to the sons who follow behind them. Look at the world now. The world is the way it is because men don't want to be men. Who did Yahuwah question when the fall happened in the garden? Who did he question first? He didn't say, Eve, where you at? He didn't even tell the serpent, hey, I heard you in here. You still in this? He said, Adam, where the heck are you? Adam, where are you? All my brothers out there, where are you? Where are you in Abba Yahuwah? Where are you in the truth? It's time to identify yourself in his characteristics, not in your past traumas and dramas, but the present truth that he has given his people to walk in, who he is, his unchanging character. Time to identify yourself in him, because we running out of men. They becoming extinct, and not like dinosaurs because they never existed. Yahuwah alone be esteemed. Do not be fooled. Real men don't trend. I don't care what the scriptures, the truth says the earth is be given into the hands of the wicked. So if TD Jakes is famous, how did he get there? If Tony Robbins is famous, who put him up there? Exactly. Show me in the word where real men started trending and people were trying to be like real men. They didn't want to be like Eliyahu when Jezebel was running amok up in there. The men went over to go be with her and her peoples. They crossed over to the dark side. Yeah, that's what they did. How many men did you hear about when Eliyahu run around bringing fire down, stopping the rain, that they wanted to be like him? You heard one. Elisha. What did he say? He said, give me a double portion. Woo! It was one man that wanted to be like a real man. Real men don't trend. Understand that. They will never trend in this age. Listen carefully. If you still be listening to these people, you ought to stop anyways. But if you just seem to can't find a way to detach yourself, listen carefully to what they be saying and how they still hurt about their childhood. That's why so many of them successful, because they speak into the same hurts that the audience have not gotten over. That's how they win over the hearts of the people. They speak into that weakness, and that weakness is why they cut them checks and fill up them seats and buy these stupid motivational tapes and take their tracks and put them on their fake motivational videos when they go to Planet Fitness and work out. Yeah, let's keep it real. Stop playing. We ain't playing. We got time. Recess been over with. Recess was over in 2019. It's class time. Yeah. And school about to be out. Before you know it, many people going to be like, dang, I wish I would have graduated, but I failed and flunked, and ain't no do-overs. Yahuwah alone be esteemed for this study. Remember, beloved, we have the after study, which is going to happen. I need to change this date here, but it comes on the following day, which is on the Shabbat at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Go to movingmindsetministry.org/group study. Click on that tab. Find out how you get access, no matter where you calling from, video chatting, texting from. You don't want to be seen. That's okay. I know y'all, Shabbat, your hair ain't all together. It's relaxed time anyways. So if you ain't trying to be seen, that's okay. Turn your monitor off so we can't see you. If you're on your phone, your iPad, your laptop, your desktop, but you can get on and we talk about the study. We got other questions. People share their testimony, their stories. But if you get on like that lady got on last time, talking about you the only one speaking in such and such truth, I'm gonna tell you like I tell them, Yahuwah alone be esteemed. Give it to him. Give it to him, and you better do that. Because as soon as you don't do that, guess what you're gonna do? Exactly what she did. Start talking that double talk, that double speak, and all esteem to Yahuwah. I'm gonna slam that hammer down on you too. That's not pride. That's reality. I believe in it. He called me, and I'm gonna walk into it. Walk in it until it's over. Let's walk into it. Let's walk in it until it's over. Get through this old nonsense. Get through this evil age. Yes. Yahuwah alone be lifted high for all that he do. For this gather, for this study, for this time of a message to the men. I'm telling you from experience. I didn't read it in a book. I've walked this path myself. I'm not a flawless, perfect man, but he has shown me the truth. He's revealed truth to me, and he's preserved me when I should have been destroyed, even at my own decisions, my own hand. But he kept me, and he didn't bring me thus far so I can come on and rub your back and tell you it's going to be okay when you live in any kind of way. It's time to identify yourself in Yahuwah. It's time to identify yourself as his creation. You're not no doggone kitty cat. Okay, you're not a snake. You are a man. Time to walk like it. If you give to this ministry according to the truth, Yahuwah be esteemed for you because you being obedient. And he said it in his word. He will give in his according to his commandments, and he will ensure that you will never go without. You will be a testament of obedience. You will be a testament of obedience. We don't campaign for no money, no funds, none of that stuff. We don't got no booster club for you. Okay? We don't have nothing to give you other than the truth. If Yahuwah wills, I'll start sending out some books, and I typically do that at my expense as he provides for me. But we give him the honor. We give him the esteem. We eradicate the lies, and we walk according to what is written. For he alone is worthy. I'm just a sign in the road. That's it. I'm just a sign in the road on a time clock like everybody else. And all I want to do is get to where he has me and remain there, stay where he has me. So when it's all said and done, welcome. Enter into the joys of your master, my good and loyal servant. That's all I want to hear. Period. Wherever he positions me, wherever he places me, Yahuwah alone be esteemed. Remember, be less. Reduce yourself. Get up off your high horse. Stop acting like, the world is just everybody's against you. Corey, if you walk in the truth, you better believe they're against you. They better be against you. They better be your enemies. Walk in the truth. Live for him. Honor him. Be the reflection that he has created you to be with his character written in the word, as we covered in the scripture. Let us make man in our image and after our likeness. Know his likeness, know his image, and walk in that. Because that's the only true way to be a man. Anything else, it's just a bunch of fluff. It's just a bunch of powder cake, powder sugar and flour that's going to eventually, the storm going to come and wash that nonsense away. All right? Remember, always be less